Good evening, everyone. It is my honor to welcome you all to TCS CHROMA InnerCircle 2023. CHROMA InnerCircle is designed to bring together our valued customers to come together to share ideas, innovations, and best practices, and therefore making InnerCircle a mutually rewarding experience. My name is Bridget Dominic, and I will be your host for the evening. This is the third edition of CHROMA InnerCircle, and the theme this year is Future of Work, Digital, Data-Driven, and Human-Centric. The future is enabling platforms to tie data and human values together to create a collaborative intelligence. The success of an organization is contingent on its ability to strike a balance between its key pillars, digital technology, data-driven processes, and human-centric values. All eyes are on HR, and undoubtedly, HR has a unique role to play in advocating for a workplace that supports people and technology to thrive side by side. Today, we have with us distinguished senior leaders, industry veterans, and HR professionals as our esteemed guests. It is with great privilege that I would like to introduce to you our impressive panel of speakers. Mr. D.P. Nambiar, Vice President and Head of HR, Geographies and Corporate Functions, Tata Consultancy Services. Dr. Pradyumna Pandey, CHRO, Mother Dairy. Mr. Paul Eves, HR Shared Services Director, Mitchells and Butlers Leisure Retail Limited. Dr. Ajit Onavale, Head HR Transworld Group. Mr. Ritesh Solanke, HR Head Pix Transmissions Limited. Mr. Jatin Mehta, Manager Corporate HR, Tata Advanced Systems Limited. Mr. Mahesh N, Senior AVP HR, Tefe Limited. Ms. Komal Darekar, Head Human Resources, Bajaj Finance Limited. Ms. Abha Ban, National Head Human Resources, Bajaj Housing Finance Limited. Mr. Ronit Mohanty, Manager Group HR, Tata Sons. Mr. Ajay Bharatwaj, Deputy General Manager, Corporate HR, Dharampal Satyapal Limited. And Mr. Raj Agarwal, Vice President and Global Head of Tata Consultancy Services. I would like to thank you all for joining us today. It is an honor to have you all here. It is time to kickstart our sessions for the day with the keynote address. For today's keynote session, we have Mr. D.P. Nambiar, Vice President, Human Resources of Tata Consultancy Services. An alumnus of the Madras School of Social Work, DP has been with TCS for over 3 decades. He has worked in India, North America, and Europe with his experience encompassing a wide spectrum of areas within human resources. He has previously been the Global Head of Talent Acquisition for TCS, the Director of Human Resources for TCS Europe, and the Head of the Business Partner HR team globally. His current responsibilities include leading the integrated HR organization for geographies and corporate functions. DP has previously been an active contributor in various industry forums, having also earlier served on industrial level panels with policy level agendas such as enhancing employability. During his European stint, he was an active participant in talent, culture, mobility, and skills related discussions at various platforms in Europe, including at events sponsored by the European Union. He has also been involved in collaborative initiatives between TCS and the World Economic Forum in the areas of skill development. DP is known for his strong business connect, relationship skills, and leadership ability. As a professional with experience across various HR subdomains, he has been a mentor to many. He lives in and works from Mumbai. Thank you for joining us today and welcome, DP.
Thank you very much, Bridget, and a big thanks to Raj and the entire team for giving me this opportunity. It's an absolute privilege to be here, and when I see my co-panelists here, it's very impressive. And again, like I said, it's a privilege to be here. So, friends, I think the theme that we have for today is the future of work, and it's all about technology and digital and so on. But I'm going to take a few minutes to talk about while we are talking of the future of work and while we are talking of technology and digital, why it continues to be critical to look at the human factor and why the human factor is still the central thing in everything that we do. And I'm going to probably delve into what we have done at TCS a little bit to talk about it. We are, by virtue of our size, by virtue of the distributed kind of population that we have, the demographics that we have certain challenges, some of which may be unique to us, but a lot of which will be similar to other colleagues who have joined from other organizations. So do allow me to lean on a few slides. I promise not to dump you with a lot of slides, but there are a few that I think will probably help us sort of understand things quicker and better. So let me do that. Just a second, please. Okay, hopefully you can see the slides. So when we speak of future of work, there's a lot of things being spoken about in terms of what technology can do, and increasingly people talk about the fact that we have today a scenario where increasingly we have to provide a flexi work environment for our people. Gig working is becoming the in thing, and that's something which we really need to look at. Expert cloud, as we call it. AI is becoming increasingly important, and how do we ensure that we are able to get our people to be able to leverage AI as a co-worker and not actually get replaced by AI? And there's so much that needs to happen on that front. Uh, the talent cloud, demand across geographies. A company like ours, we are distributed across, we operate in more than 50 countries. And how do we ensure that we are able to make available the best possible talent from any part of the globe for any other part of the globe, especially with all the technology that is available today? How do we leverage the freelance marketplace? And of course, looking at the bank of hours. So there's a whole host of things. But while we do all of this, and while we, like many of the others, focus on these things, look at how we want to leverage these new ways of working, as if I may call it, that are coming in. There are some things which continue to be core. And ultimately, we are dealing with people. And when we are dealing with people, there are certain things which don't change, irrespective of if things were a few years back or today or maybe into the future. So and I've borrowed this from something which Bain and Company put out, but looking at the next gen workforce, and when we look at the workforce of today, there are so many things which are common in terms of aspirations from the workforce of yesterday, but there are also some things which are more pronounced. So if you just look at it, when you look at the hygiene factors, the qualifiers, people are looking for a safe work environment. People want to be valued. They want to be rewarded fairly, and they want to be rewarded instantly. Gone are those days when one could say that, okay, you need to wait for X number of months, wait for a couple of years. Oh, great work, fantastic, pat on the back, hold on, we'll take care of you end of the year. Increasingly, the younger generation is looking at being recognized here and now. People want more autonomy at work. Very close management, very close kind of supervisory style no longer works. When you look at the next level of what has been described as intrinsic motivators, people want to be learning. People don't want to be in an environment where they're just working, they're just doing, but they're not upskilling themselves. People want to be constantly learning. People want to know that the work that they're doing is having a larger impact, and people want to be integrally part of a team. They want to know that the rest of the team sees the value they bring in. They want to be able to learn from the rest of the team. There has to be constant interface and interaction that happens. And finally, people definitely look forward to leadership. They look forward to the leaders that they work with across different levels. It could be somebody who's their immediate supervisor. It could be somebody who's the CEO of the organization. But they are looking at those leaders to inspire them. They're looking at those leaders to actually ensure that they make them understand what role they play in the journey. And people want to be inspired by what they do. People want to have meaning and purpose in their work. Now, all of this is a very real challenge in our scenario. Over 600,000 people, 88% Gen Y, and 153 nationalities. So one can just imagine the challenge that one faces. And we also have, there are some uh, efforts that we have been making over a period of time to internationalize and make our workforce even more global. There are a lot of work that we have done to ensure that we have more women coming into more leadership roles, but the fundamentals don't change. The fundamentals are that these three key things, the key pillars that I spoke about, continue to be there. And no amount of technology can replace the human instinct, the human desire, the human need to be given that environment where they feel nurtured, where they feel they are being valued, where they feel they are making a difference, where they feel inspired. So it's been a journey. Our talent engagement thing has been a journey, and I'll not get into each of those boxes. But clearly, when we started off, it was a very traditional model, and we have only given something here for the last 4 years. I didn't want to go into a 50+ year history, but it's been what everybody does. And then we were hit by the pandemic. And when the pandemic came in, we realized suddenly that we need to adapt. We need to learn how to work in a model where people are going to be away. People are going to be operating out of their homes. People are going to not be coming into the offices and into our delivery centers every day. And how do we then ensure that they continue to stay engaged? How do we ensure that they continue to feel the vibrancy that coming into the workplace actually brings in? And towards that, what we did is we leveraged all the technology that we had at our disposal, our internal social media, our Microsoft Teams platform that we've been using, and also other platforms that we've been using. And we also established what we call virtual HR base. We created virtual HR base so that people could reach out to HR folks virtually, and they could connect with them. They were constantly engaged. We put a lot of emphasis on leadership connect during that time. In fact, the kind of leadership connect that we pushed and we ensured happened during the time of the pandemic when people were away was actually more than what we would do in the regular scenario, because we clearly saw that there was a need for our people to be more engaged, for our people to feel that they are not alone, so to speak. Because that was a very real issue where people were operating from various places, remotely logging in. And we had cases where people actually felt that they were no longer part of a team, that they were a little cut off, and so on. So it became extremely important for us to engage in a far more proactive manner. And there we derived what we came up with was our engagement with purpose model. And I'll talk a little bit about it, but it essentially is uh, looking at holistic engagement. What we are trying to do here with engagement with purpose is a complete holistic engagement with our people, so that we are looking at every single aspect of an individual's aspiration, desire, and well-being while that person is with us. And as an organization, the philosophy, it's a Tata philosophy, also TCS's philosophy. We look at every single person that joins us, whether from a campus or somebody who joins us as a lateral. We see them as long-term players with us. We don't typically look at people coming in, working with us just transactionally for a certain assignment and moving away. And our entire approach towards engagement is also geared by that very long-term view of looking at bringing people in, grooming them, and making sure they have long, fulfilling careers with us. So what's the engagement with purpose model? Well, it's about creating a mindset. It's creating the mindset about the TCS way. It's about, uh, in some ways, it's about ensuring that people who come to us either from campus or laterals who may have come after working in other organizations uh, are quickly onboarded, are quickly uh, integrated into the organization. And we do it in a manner where it is seamless, and it also addresses every single aspect of what an employee in the classic sense would be looking for. So what are we looking at? Uh, there are a few things which are very core and dear to us. So we are an organization that has always believed that people should be continuously learning. Um, our leaders have always said this, that technology can get dated, but people don't get dated. It's a question of investing in your people. It's a question of ensuring that they are given the opportunity to upgrade themselves, to constantly stay ahead of the curve, so that they stay relevant. And as long as they stay relevant, the organization also stays relevant. And we are in a highly competitive marketplace. And in our marketplace, it becomes extremely critical that we stay relevant and we stay ahead. And a lot of what we do through our engagement with purpose is derived towards that. we have from a philosophy perspective, we look at learning being something which happens lifelong through the career of a person. And we have we have leveraged technology in a huge manner to ensure that almost every course that is available internally is available to a person anywhere on any device at any point in time. So a person can learn from wherever they are. They can choose to use any device. They can log in. They can learn and move on. There are, of course, a few courses which are more in-person kind of a thing, but the bulk of it is designed in a manner that it makes it easy for our people, especially considering the huge distributed demographics that we have. We have people spread all over the place and 600,000 plus, and we are adding people all the time, if I may say that. What we are also doing with this is capturing the aspirations of our people. There is a we have something called Accelerate, where we reach out to people. It's part of our portal. Again, leveraging technology to capture aspirations of people and then build on that. So you capture their aspirations, look at what is it that they want to do, work along with the leaders, their supervisors and others to see what kind of specific training or coaching needs to be made available for them so that they can actually get to their aspirations, and then work with them so that they get there. Uh, Social collaboration is huge. We have our internal social media platform. We call it Nomi, and we leverage that in a big way. We have lot of different channels there for people to actually come in, engage with their colleagues, engage with the larger TCS, both from the professional perspective and also beyond the professional perspective. So professionally, of course, where you leverage all of this is in terms of collaboration, in terms of understanding, certain challenges that somebody may be facing in, let's say somebody in a Tokyo office faces a challenge. They want to understand if anybody else anywhere else in the world face that challenge. How do we leverage that information? Partly got to do with knowledge management. A lot of it is about information flow within that particular environment so that people can get information very quickly, and that helps them to move ahead. Also, a lot of innovation related work happens through this. Again, Microsoft Teams is another medium that we have been leveraging in a major way towards this. Uh, Beyond that, in social collaboration, we also look at engaging with the families, engaging with people in terms of their interests. So people may have specific interests beyond work. How do we engage with them? How do we ensure that we are able to provide them a platform to sort of leverage that and sort of pursue their passion, so to speak? Uh, Tata's and TCS is all about serving the community. That's something which I don't need to emphasize. And again, we have specific programs which are essentially designed to ensure that people have the opportunity to come in and contribute. And increasingly so, I'm sure all my colleagues will agree here, we find that the talent pool, especially the talent pool that comes in from the campuses, be it in India or outside of India, they not only want to join an employer who they believe will take care of them, will provide them an interesting and fulfilling career, will give them the opportunity to grow, to probably to see the world, but also an employer who actually contributes back to the community, to the society, and helps them play that role of making a difference. And there we have a lot of work that we have done to ensure that we are able to do that. We are able to provide those necessary platforms, and I will touch upon it briefly, as we go along. Health and well-being, again, extremely critical, and I again don't need to emphasize, especially in today's environment. There is so physical health is one thing, but there's also a lot of focus on mental health and well-being. So it's a combination. But the first one you see there on the left, Know My TCS, that is what everybody starts off with. So people come into the organization, and there are modules that we have. We call it I Begin and I Belong. There are two modules in our internal platform that is available to people, where they can get to understand the organization even before they come in and join us. We engage deeply with them even before they come in and join us. And also, as they come aboard, we provide them a mentor who supports them through their journey in the initial phase. So, in a nutshell, if I look at it, we are looking at engaging in a very holistic manner. And the proof of the pudding, of course, is in the eating. So has it worked? We believe it has. Our engagement score, our satisfaction scores have been the highest we have seen in 14 years. So that, for want of too many other ways to measure this, I think that has definitely shown it. We also continue, despite all the challenges that all organizations had with attrition over the last couple of years. And I'm not saying we didn't, of course we had those challenges, but we continue to be the industry leader with respect to retention. And we continue to build on that. We continue to work towards going back to the kind of retention levels that we had, just before the pandemic. So I spoke about the fact that we engage with our people from the perspective of a holistic well-being, and also look at how they can contribute back to society. So I've just given three examples of three initiatives that we run. So we have TCS Maitri, which is essentially the very meaning of the word Maitri is friendship, and that's what it means. And there is a host of activities we do within that to engage not only with our employees but with the larger families. TCS Fit for Life is a major initiative where we are working with our people to provide them various avenues towards fitness. Of course, I'm sure you're aware that we sponsor a lot of marathons across, but there's also a lot of other stuff that we do. It's not just marathons. We provide the opportunity for people to come in, participate. There are a lot of clubs that we have wherever we operate, be it in India or overseas. People can take advantage of that. Yoga for Life is another initiative that we have where increasingly people are taking on the yoga, and this became extremely popular during the pandemic. During the pandemic, when people were operating from their hometowns and from their homes, we found typically the stress levels were going up. TCS Cares, which is our arm, which actually reaches out to people to understand if especially when people need counseling, etc. We got the feedback that the stress levels seem to be going up, and that's when we really ramped up on this. And a lot of good work happening. There's a lot of traction that we are seeing on this. And a fourth initiative is Purpose for Life, which essentially looks at partnering with people to ensure that they are able to contribute positively to society by coming in and maybe helping an orphanage, maybe coming in and looking at how to help a school, one of the government schools that is running, and many such programs. But the gist of what I'm trying to say is, at the end of the day, people are people, and people, what makes them tick is not very different, be it in the world where we are looking at be it in the world where we are looking at a lot of technology coming in, or yesteryear. I fundamentally believe that all people, uh, there are three things that everybody needs to know when somebody is in an organization. The first thing is, why am I here? Everybody, every individual, right from somebody at a very senior role to a youngster who joins us recently, should be able to answer this question. Why am I here? The second question is, where are we going? And when we say where are we going, it could be the organization, it could be just my project team. But where are we going? What are we trying to do here? They need to be able to answer that. And the last thing is, what is my role in this journey? I think if we can ensure that all our people, you know, every single one, every last individual who works for us can answer these three questions, then I think we have done whatever HR professionals need to do. The rest of it, technology, all advancements that are happening with respect to supporting people in terms of how they can become more productive, efficient, all of that will take care. But these are fundamentals. And the key to this is leadership ownership. Leaders have to own their people. Leaders have to ensure that people understand that they are with them, that they can go out and try new things, that they can go out and experiment. And if they push the envelope, somebody is going to be there behind them with a parachute. That's extremely important. And that's a culture that we at TCS very strongly believe in. It's something which we have tried to ensure that it is fully internalized. Of course, we have a large number of people who have joined us during the pandemic. And what we are looking at now is ensuring a continuity of that culture, both from a hybrid perspective, if they're working in a hybrid model, and also looking at increasingly getting people back into our offices so that we can effectively engage with them. But in a gist, I think this is what I wanted to share. I've tried to keep it very short. I can obviously, a company like TCS, I can probably go on and talk for a long time, but I've tried to keep it very short. But like I said, we just need to remember the last thing that I said. Why am I here? Where are we going? What is my role in it? If every leader in TCS and all my other colleagues from other companies, if we can ensure that every leader ensures every person that works with them can answer these three questions, uh, I think as HR professionals, we have done our job. We can rest easy. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And thanks, Bridget. Over back to you.
Thank you, DP. Thank you for that insightful session and for sharing with us TCS' own journey on how we are building a people-first organization and how leaders can contribute in creating such a people-first organization. So thank you, thank you once again, DP. Next, we have a conversation on humanizing technology for the new age workforce. Organizations must understand people's relationship with technology in order to optimize business agility and performance. For this, at the center of every technology transformation should be a human-centric approach. Humanized technology isn't technology for its own sake, it is technology that works easily and well. To help us understand this better, we have with us Dr. Pradyumna Pandey, Chief Human Resource Officer, Mother Dairy. An HR professional with over 30 years of experience in human resource management, a keen strategist with a flair for designing and implementing innovative HR strategies and OD interventions to suit the needs of the organization. As CHRO for Mother Dairy, a wholly owned subsidiary of National Dairy Development Board, he is responsible for providing strategic leadership by articulating human resource needs and plans, organization capability building, people development, performance management, employee communication, policy development, legal compliances, and industrial relations, with a focus upon nurturing, shaping, and sustaining the overall cultural strategy for the company. He has earlier worked with ACC Limited, Holcim, Shriram Group, JK Tyre, and Torrent Pharma. He was recognized as ETHR World's 50 Thought Leaders of 2022. We also have Mr. Bhushan Jadhav, who is a strategic accounts partner for TCS CHROMA, to moderate this discussion. Please welcome Mr. Pandey and Mr. Jadhav.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Thank you, Bridget. And again, a very warm welcome, Dr. Pradyumna, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you, sir. So we had a great keynote session by Mr. DP Nambia just now, wherein I believe he kind of set the context for our discussion today. He spoke about the human factor and why it continues to be critical to look at the human factor, and he spoke about the engagement with purpose. With this, I believe we can start our discussion today. Over the last few years, technology has rapidly evolved in HR. Technology has permeated organizational processes like never before, and leaders are acknowledging many creative ways of using technology. However, technology seldom works out of box. It still needs humans to learn, to stay relevant, and to serve as a backup when needed. And identifying when this interference is required and acting on it is what ensures success. So as companies and brands strive to stay relevant in this competitive marketplace, some tend to overdo the amount of technology they infuse in their organizations. Leaders are now provoked to think how much tech is too much tech, and whether excessive use of technology has resulted in the loss of human touch. So I'd like to ask you, sir, from people perspective, what can HR professionals do to humanize technology?
See, the way we are used to technology in our personal space, the experience, the ease of doing things, our expectation as employees now is demanding that more and more technology can come in, which can help us in our day-to-day work. Difficult to answer how much tech is too much. There is a difficult question, but I can very much sure that in today's scenario, if I say that leadership in organizations should at least have a mindset to say that everything can be digitized. That mindset is very important. How much we are bringing in, it all depends upon the need of the business. It should not be that you copy what the next door competitor is doing. So what exactly is needed, we should focus on that. But like for HR, if I as a HR leader, if my focus is on talent acquisition, for sure my focus will go to that level that I will think about that the mentoring discussion which was earlier having on coffee table, can that be a platform for that? So it is all need based, I will say, rather than just putting it. Rather, I will say it's a business decision. How much you want to invest? What is the need versus what investment you want to make? See, technology is a facilitator, and it's a responsibility of leadership of organization to ensure that technology does not result into loss of human touch, as you said. And I always say that there comes your efforts to mentor and coach your managers and to say them that proximity with employees is very important. And that is the only way we can counter the ill effects of technology. Proximity with employees we need to maintain. That becomes important. On part of humanizing technology, I think the mantra is to design it with empathy. Whenever you are designing a technology, put yourself in the shoes of the users. That becomes important because that is the way you can think about their needs, their emotions, and their motivations. And this will help to create something very intuitive things, some user-friendly, I will say, interfaces that what is required. So that is where the people, those who are creating those technology, they should put themselves. For HR, I always say, don't leave technology in the hand of technologists. You have to be there to see that the human angle is captured. Most important is you should prioritize simplicity in your technological interventions. In a sense that unnecessary complexities, if you can be avoided, should be avoided. That is one. Second, when we're talking about people, two things which comes in my mind. One is whether my investment of technology is going where I can do something more for creating platform for collaboration. So whether I'm investing on that properly, whether I'm taking that need of the organization very clearly, because you have instant messaging, you should have conferencing, project management tools. Whether I'm investing, because these are directly related to people and they look for it. Second is the more important one is whether I'm investing on the technologies which are supporting well-being of employees. See, now we are talking about reducing stress. We are talking about mindfulness. Whether there are tools which help us, there are technological tools, there are things which can bring people in. So if we invest on those, automatically the trust factor of people, because people look rational behind your decision of bringing technology in. If you make it clear to them, if it's something related to them, it will help. And that is what I will say, that humanizing technology is the most important topic, because if you don't do that, we will always look for, we will do firefighting to fight the ill effects of technology.
Right. That is indeed a wonderful, insight you have shared with us. Having the right mindset, empathizing, right? Empathizing is really very important. I completely agree with you, sir. So, Mother Dairy, right? India's beloved dairy major, as we all know, you have a diverse workforce. Now, for this workforce to work together towards a common goal, we believe that employees must be provided with appropriate enabling systems. I'm sure you do that, and for this, the organization must also adopt to technological advancements regularly. So, while taking technology-related decisions, what do you aim at? Do you opt technology to augment human intellect, to support it, or as a substitute for it?
If you ask this question, will technology replace humans? I think the first keynote address also, it was very clear that yes, it is not going to replace. Probably it is not going to replace. Because I always feel that people and technology, they both bring different abilities and strength to the table. So technology brings something very important, but also people are very important for us. The only thing which I will say that it depends upon the context as well as what specific technology we are getting involved in. and it is, I will never say there is no one size fit logic to this, whether I'm replacing them, supporting them, or augmenting them. It's a mix of things. Like if I talk about certain data visualization tools, they don't replace our intelligence.
Right.
Rather than it enhances, it augments, it helps me to analyze the data in a better way, more information, more effective decisions made in getting created out of those. But in some cases where I will say, like you talk about those small things, email filters, your scheduling softwares, you're managing your time. I think these are where we get that some cases it also supports us. But I will never deny the fact that there are certain things when we talk about artificial intelligence, when we talk about machine learning, there you will find that there are certain things which technology will replace humans. So it is a mix of all. There is no one size fit logic to that what is happening. But we need to be very clear that for what I'm bringing in, and that I always again and again I will say that rationale behind bringing any technology in need to be shared with employees, need to be shared with end users. So the fear factor should move out from their mind, that what exactly it is going to do with their jobs, their roles, how it is impacting them.
Right. So kind of, yeah, definitely agree with you. It is going to be a mix, right? We can definitely not augment, support and substitute it for sure, right? That is completely, I mean, sync with what you say. So we spoke about Mother Dairy having a diverse workforce, right? You have a good mix of management, that is white collar employees and shop floor or blue collar employees, right? And you have also been known to focus attention on the human side of organizational life. I think you were also recognized by Economic Times as one of India's top 100 best companies to work with. Every individual in the organization is a vital cog that keeps the monetary wheel turning, right? So how do you ensure that technological advancements are inclusive of all types and levels of employees in your organization?
When we talk about Mother Dairy, the focus for us was always that technological advancements should be like that we adopt easy to use technology. That is first. The focus was always that technology should be easy to use, because as you said that there are different categories of people working for Mother Dairy. And there are certain technological advancements, whether it is attendance, leave, shift monitoring, those initial which came in, that was applicable to all, need to be adopted by all. So there was no choice. But we made sure that those are when we talk about use, easy accessibility, easy use, that was the focus. But when we talk about technology, important is, as I said, that communicate the rationale behind bringing technology in. I think you have to tell employees the benefits coming out of adoption of technology in a particular area. Those benefits should be clear to them. They should trust your intervention. That becomes important. Second is, as I said, provide adequate training to end users. Very important. This will help to remove the fear of technology. That if you are not doing that, that fear will always restrict them, their interventions. They will use it half-heartedly. The entire benefit of technology doesn't come. I have seen an organization where there are two manual and online system, both were working together because they were saying both should work. Entry on the registers were continuing. So that change management becomes important. And also, I think when we talk about implementing mobile-friendly platform, why not? Because everyone is using mobiles. Like we at Mother Dairy, we have gone with those Salesforce automation. I think that has changed the entire lookout of the person who is at field. The ease of doing the activities. It is not about monitoring his movements, monitoring his attendance. It's about like improving sales, real-time data to get more perfect decisions, how to connect with retailers, how to connect with distributors, know about their stocks, replenishing them in time. And that as a salesperson, his credibility has gone up.
Right.
And
absolutely.
And that brings the engagement.
Yeah. So very completely agree, sir. Very well put. Ease of use, communication, training, and and mobility, which is the latest thing that is happening today. So completely agree. And every employee is equally important, and as you said, right, taking them into account before taking any such decisions is really vital. So moving on, fostering a fun work environment can make employees, less stressed, more productive, more creative, and more engaged, right? And in the long run, all of this is definitely going to have a very strong and positive impact, right, on your organization. So enhancing the creative and fun elements in user experience in technology, while automating work can help reduce burnout and eventually bring back joy at work. So do you believe that, integrating creative and fun elements in user experience, it can also help humanize technology?
When we talk about creating and fun elements, for sure, it will help to increase adoption. That is first, because it's important. Engagement is second, but adoption, it increases, and it's more crucial from the employee's point of view. You should think about it, that the person who is day for 8 hours he is spending on technology, how he can get engaged. Not only adoption, I think create this creativity or fun elements, they can motivate people, the user, to interact with the system more frequently.
Right.
And I think if he interacts with the system more frequently, my productivity goes up, his engagement goes up. So I'm with that point that yes, it's important to create those fun elements in your technology, but it is also important to ensure that these elements are used in a way that are appropriate for the target audience. Sometimes you just copy paste wala, we start doing that. I think that then it fails the entire.
Right.
One important point which I would like to share as a last point from my end, because I know that it was 15 minutes. I'm already reaching at 15 minutes target. As HR person, because in an organization, when we talk about bringing technology in, there are different set of employees. There are millennials. They are major part of this workforce now. There are people, those like us, baby boomers, and the people, those who are born in 60s, 70s. For those millennials, technology is a need. You need not to worry about it. You bring technology, they will adopt it very quickly. For the people, those are earlier generation, they look, for them, it is a change. And as HR, you cannot just react to a change. You cannot just, you need to be proactive. You need to work as a change agent. And again, I will say, don't leave technology in the hand of technologists. HR people need to be a change agent in the organization whenever there is a technological intervention in the organization. So we have a very important role, because as you said, that humanizing technology will succeed when we wholeheartedly get into that transformation process as HR.
So wonderful, Dr. Tradindra. Thank you again for that response, and I'm sure you're going to inspire a lot of HR folks and the entire fraternity who is here, right? And I'm sure they are not going to leave it to the technologist completely, right? To quickly summarize my view as well, I just have a minute or so. So humanizing technology is all about designing technology to be better for humans and better at interacting with humans. The technology should increase the ease of doing business and support employees to solve the challenges they face. And as sir, you have also rightly kind of highlighted, HR leaders should aim at building enabling systems so that employees are more engaged with technology and not fearful of it. So I'm sure everyone on this in this event is going to agree that the right blend of people and machines will create a strong advantage for any organization. So once again, thank you, sir, and thank you everyone for being in this session. And over to you, Trijit.
Thank you, TCS, for calling me on this forum.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Dr. Ponte and Bhushan, for a wonderful session. We now move on to the next session, championing talent engagement and retention. Employee retention promotes the health and success of an organization. It is not only contingent upon, but also closely knit with employee engagement. When employees are engaged, they are more likely to invest in the work they do, which leads to high-performing employees. For engaged employees who are happy and committed to their work, it's more than just a paycheck. It's a dedication towards their employers and role that makes them passionate about their work, which is often reflected in a business success and employee engagement. To discuss the intricacies of this with us, we have Mr. Paul Eves, HR Shared Services Director at Mitchells & Butlers. He's part of the leadership team delivering a digital transformation strategy, which involves designing and implementing a range of HR service changes to better meet managers' and employees' needs. His key strengths include relationship building, collaboration, describing complex issues in a simple way, emotional intelligence, and leading teams through change. He is passionate about inclusion and encourages people to bring their whole selves to work. He chairs the Midlands Employees LGBTQ+ network with over 600+ members from multiple organizations and has qualifications in program and project management and Six Sigma. We also have Mr. Sanjay Landke, who has 25+ years of experience in consulting and delivery of HRIT projects to moderate this discussion. He currently leads the global HCM delivery at TCS Platform Solutions. So please welcome Mr. Eves and Mr. Landke.
Thank you, Bridget, and welcome, Mr. Paul. Thank you for joining us today in this third edition of CHROMA InnerCircle. It's our pleasure to have you with us. In today's era, thank you, Paul. In today's era, HR leaders face a historic amount of disruption, and their timeline from planning to action keeps shrinking, while the imperatives keep increasing. In the current tight labor market, organizations can no longer rely only on hiring their employees externally, but they also need to create an equitable internal labor market. In this context, talent management is a powerful enabler to create positive employee experiences, employer value propositions, and employer branding. To lead the industry from the forefront, it is important for organizations to champion talent engagement, which will eventually enable talent retention. A future-ready workforce means having the right people at the right place and at the right time. In today's world of work, to attract and hire top industry talent, we need to adopt the right recruitment strategy. So here is my first question to you, Mr. Paul. As we are aware, the employee churn rate in hospitality sector is very high. So how does MAB tailor its talent acquisition strategy to attract and hire top industry talent?
Thank you. I guess as you say, it's very challenging. And in the last 2 or 3 years, it's got even more challenging than it's been for the last 10. I guess what we've done is focus our strategy on different types of employees. So we call them front of house, our sort of customer service employees. It's very much about using social media and focusing on the benefits of a career for us, coming to work for us over our competitors. So having a really clear employee value proposition. What makes us different? A lot of that focuses on our culture and our fun and our reward, how rewarding it is to serve our great customers and get that feedback. I guess the other group we focused on is our kitchen teams, which is vital. Food is vital to our business. And that's been a very sort of underinvested area in the UK in terms of schools and colleges and people growing their careers. So we've been putting a lot of work into selling a career in food as a career, not necessarily just a job you might do for the first 2 years. I guess the third group is really about our management population. So how do we recruit or attract new managers to our business, from competitors who want a career with us? And that's where it's been vital to be clear, what is our employee value proposition? What makes us different to our competitors? And what flexibility can we offer that our competitors can't?
Thank you, Mr. Paul, for the excellent views. So basically focusing a different strategy on different groups of employees.
Yeah.
Thank you. In hospitality sector, the key to an organization's success is ongoing stream of happy customers. And it is said that happy employees means happy customers. So to achieve customers' happiness, it is imperative to focus on employees' happiness first, and engaging them is every organization's top priority. To achieve this, organization's first inclination mostly leads towards building new benefits packages for employees or offering them office perks. such as employee discounts, cold brew on tap, company subsidized meals, and so on. So what, according to you, Mr. Paul, is the difference between employees' job satisfaction and employee engagement? Also, do you think such initiatives help in enhancing employee engagement?
Yeah, this is a more difficult question. I like this one. I think you know, my personal view is you can't have any job satisfaction and engagement. You can't have one without the other. And I think the power is when the two work together. And job satisfaction, we've said, often comes from knowing what your role is, getting clear feedback, and having the tools to do your job. But actually engagement comes from a broader connection and a broader motivation. And what we've seen is that that's really dependent upon the quality of your manager, the quality of the conversations with your manager or a leader, whether you're, you know, regardless of where you are in that hierarchy. So I think it's vital, the two together, they go hand in hand. In terms of what we've done to support that, we've surveyed our employees, we've done a lot of time talking to them. We run, you know, company-wide surveys like lots of organizations do. But what we've done more recently is ask some very specific questions about with a smaller group of people. And one example is our teams in our restaurants and our outlets. What's important to them is flexibility, but that's not necessarily the classic flexibility you might have from an office worker. They know they're going to work, you know, hours that the rest of us that want to go out to dinner. They're going to have to be working while we all want to go out to dinner. But there are certain things that are important to them. It could be watching their children in a sport. It could be, you know, a family commitment. And so flexibility doesn't just mean, you know, I don't want to work weekends. It's about what's important to each individual, and a manager feeling empowered to make that work. You know, that flexibility is a two-way deal. The other trend we've generally seen is, when we've been asking, is particularly for our lower paid employees, it's not necessarily about benefits. It's things that they see as essential to help them work successfully. So food and drink at a sensible price, you know, be able to travel to the location at a sensible price, you know, compared to going to other places. So we're doing a lot of work on those very basics. You know, so what offerings can we give, like the drink, food, etc., that meets their needs. You know, I'm a student, I'm working for you 15 hours a week, I need that money, I want to enjoy coming here, so look after me and meet my basic needs.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Paul. It was very much enlightening. I would like to move ahead with the next one. Employees are more engaged when they feel their work is being valued by their organization. Regularly showing employees that you recognize and appreciate their efforts. It's a simple gesture that will benefit the organizations in the long run. How do you promote rewards and recognition at MAB for boosting employee engagement? And what simple recognition method do you follow which align with MAB's core values?
I guess our approach is very much based on the values, as you just said, Sanjay. So everything we do is based on our values, whether that's a very small recognition or a very big recognition once a year. We have once a year something we call Pride Awards, which is national, which brings together, you know, managers and employees from all of our sites. Leading up to that, you know, there are local and regional and brand awards that feed into that. Every month, every leader is given a budget for reward and recognition, and I'm really encouraged to use it. to call out, those exceptional things that we want to recognise and reward. And importantly, we're now encouraging our peers and colleagues to do it, because it's not just leaders and managers. So it's the same approach, the same values, whether we're giving someone a very small monetary amount for something, in the moment, versus recognising someone who's done something amazing over a period of time. I guess I'd say, final thing I'd add is that, that's all underpinned by our reward strategy, which is very much based on company performance. So we're all in this together. We're all here to provide great service, delight our guests, ensure we're a profitable business. Everyone plays a part in that.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. I do agree. So it's important function and part of the organizations. Thank you. The cost of hiring, onboarding, and training talent is much more than the cost of retaining the talent you already have. When your top talent leaves the organization, it impacts the organization's overall morale, productivity, and budget. Hence, building retention in each stage of employee's life cycle is very much crucial. So what are the best retention strategies you adopt to be the employer of choice in this era?
What's at the heart of what we do is encouraging every manager and leader to have great conversations with their people. And that can be whether someone's a manager of one of our premium sites, or whether someone's working for us 10 hours a week, as a graduate hire, supporting their college work. In that conversation, somebody needs feedback. People need to know, how they're recognised and valued, and they need to know what future opportunities we see for them. And we want those, traditionally we've said, have a conversation once a year, twice a year about development or objectives or training plans. And what we've changed in the last couple of years post the pandemic is to say, this should be continuous. This should be part of the ongoing conversation and feedback. So what is the training and development open to you? How can we support you in delivering that? And really taking feedback from our annual engagement surveys. The thing that we really focus on post those surveys is action planning with our teams, so that it's not just, many organizations I've worked in, we ask really good questions and get really good feedback. What I think we're really good at here is saying, thank you for your feedback. What is it you want us to do, and how can we do it, and how can you help? And we do that at every team, at every level. And I think that really makes a difference here.
Yeah. Thank you, Paul. So basically, managers and leaders had a great role to play here. Yes, I do understand, and yeah. So I would like to move, to the my last question of this session. MAB has providing hospitality-specific apprenticeships nationwide along 1,700 pubs and restaurants, and has also won several recognitions and awards, such as 7th place in gov.uk, Top 100 Apprenticeship Employees 2022, and National Apprentice Awards for recruiting apprentices. So how do you encourage and ensure that the apprentice as well as current employees enjoy long-lasting and rewarding careers in hospitality? And what are the career development initiatives you have adopted to engage such a versatile employee base?
Yeah, it's a big part of what we do. As you say, we've won awards because we've invested a lot of time and resource as an organisation. One thing we've done over the last 2 years is have really clear targets. So we said, as a business, this is the target. This is how many we want to recruit, and we've monitored that weekly, forensically. But what we've changed in the last year is we focus more on our retention and measuring how many of those apprentices stay with us long term. because that's the ultimate measure then of, are they our future talent, and how can we support that? I guess we've used a lot of we use a lot of social media to promote the attraction around those apprentices. In terms of what we do to support them in their future career, we have a lot of specific programs. So I mentioned our annual Pride Awards. We have an apprentice program for the chef of the year, who comes up with the best dish of the year, and everyone is served that dish. Thousands of people have served that dish, in our Pride Awards. So we're kind of saying, this is at the very heart of what we do as a business. Our apprentices are right at the heart of it, and there's some very big tangible displays of, this really matters to us. I guess the final thing I'd say is this is all underpinned by real high quality mentors. Our apprentices, what makes a difference is that person who looks after them every day, might not be training them every day, might not be the person they work with constantly. They need to inspire, coach, develop, spot potential, pick them up when they've made a mistake, and we think that is the most vital role. And if we can, we've learned, if we can keep our apprentices beyond their early 20s, beyond sort of 22, 23, we've got them for. But we have to work really hard to look after them and inspire them beyond the first couple of years. If that makes sense.
Great. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Paul, for this wonderful and enlightening session, by sharing, valuable insights from MMB journey of talent engagement. The existing workflows, if happily engaged, become the brand ambassador of the organization. Employee retention once meant providing employees with competitive compensation and the necessary tools to perform their work. However, as our understanding has evolved, so have the drivers of employee turnover too. We explored today how essential it is to be proactive to create a work environment that is fun-filled, diverse, and engaging, and that the right employee engagement strategy can make a massive difference in employee retention. HR will thus continue to take the lead to drive employee engagement and retention in sync with the overall organizational goals. Thank you, Mr. Paul, once again, and over to you, Bridget. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Eels and Sanjay, for your valuable insights. Next in line is a panel discussion on the ever-evolving role of CHRO in the digital era. Leaders in the digital age have the power to inspire, engage, and lead others with clarity and optimism. In the digital age, the practice and the development of leadership skill have changed. Now, more than ever, technology is playing a pivotal role in leadership development. Let us discuss this with an impressive panel of leaders. Please welcome Dr. Ajit Onavale, Head HR at Transworld Group. He has 30+ years of experience and is a trained psychologist. His major areas of competence include framing HR policies, organization development initiatives, talent and leadership management. He has extensive expertise in designing and imparting behavioral training, process re-engineering, and managing the takeover of a large CFS and logistics organization. Mr. Ritesh Solanke, HR Head at Pix Transmissions, currently heads the HR operations. He has more than 13 years of experience and has worked in talent management, learning and development, performance management, employee engagement, HR analytics, and employee welfare schemes. He has designed and implemented various training and leadership development programs, role clarity exercises, assessment centers, and balanced scorecard concept. Mr. Jatin Mehta, Manager, Corporate HR, advising the Head HR on strategic HR products for Tata Advanced Systems Limited. Currently, he is spearheading key organizational projects for the entire merged entity, which includes 14 companies and joint ventures. He has diverse experience in handling employee lifecycle and is passionate about automation in HR through AI and ML. And lastly, we have Mr. Shobik Baral, Head of Sales and Marketing of CHROMA, who will moderate this discussion. Shobik has 20+ years of experience in global consulting and digital transformation. Let us welcome all these leaders to Inner Circle 2023.
Thank you so much, Bridget. Good evening to all here today. So it's absolutely my privilege to be part of this esteemed panel. And this is definitely going to be a wonderful theme. And I'm sure we are going to gather plethora of enlightened views at the end of this session. So in today's world, we are observing a persistent dynamic behavior in the role of HR leaders. The traditional role that we used to see of CHROs is gradually transitioning to one of the strategic significances, and that is ensuring both people and business strategy are being driven hand in hand. With the emergence of technology and digitalization in HR, rapid changes developed into cutting-edge trends. And especially when the pandemic prompted a transformation in workplace, once niche practices bloomed into new normal. So keeping that in mind, my first question to Dr. Ajit is, so Dr. Ajit, the key challenges that you might have faced in planning digital transformation is aligning the employee experience. What, according to you, will rule the future, a unified or a hyper-personal employee experience? And from your perspective, how have you really strategized the same in your organization?
Okay, it's a little longer answer to the question, so I'll try to make it as brief as possible. So, as we have learned in our school college days, first I will just give the answer in one line, and then I may elaborate and just try to explain why I'm saying so. Both are important. We cannot separate either of them. How we are doing it, I'll try to explain this. See, my background, I'm coming from a shipping and a logistics company, which is a very complicated network of things which happens. Take a simple example. When the cargo is moving, when it is moving from point A to B, there are documents moving from point B to A. And then there are various agencies in between which are checking all the movement of the cargo and the documents. Then comes your finance and the bank and the bankers. Now they also become at some point a part of the chain. At some part you'll have transportation networking, which is a part of the chain. So if you look at it, it looks quite, for people they may get scared, but it's a very beautiful and a very highly synchronized, smooth movement of things. It's not just one thing. Logistics is not just one. It's not that you're just moving the cargo from point 1 to point 2. Now here comes the question, and that's why I say that we cannot actually separate these two things. Small example I will take, like in a shipping scenario, when your cargo is in a container and you want to move it from point A to B. The processes, there are multiple processes which happen. It is not just one thing that you just pick it up from one end and just put it or dump it at the other end. There are a series of processes. There are a series of processes which are defined by the customs. There are a series of processes defined by the client. There are a series of processes defined by the shipping line, the ship which actually carries it, the port. So you see that one particular process has got a lot of inputs and expectation of outputs coming from different agents in different parts. A single person or one person, he is actually responsible for his part, but then he is a part of a larger chain. So it's kind of a subset kind of a scenario where there is a set, and then there is a subset, and there is a subset, and there is a subset, and we come to a single person. We cannot remove that single thing out of it, because then entire thing will fail, and we cannot change or remove the upper sets. Otherwise, it will just dismantle everything. How do we do it in our organizations? As I tried to explain to you in as brief as possible, that there are various activities, processes happening, various organized authorities which have defined it, and they want it in a particular way. digitalization is not one particular thing that we have to do. As an example, government of India, and I'm really happy to say this, has far advanced itself in the digitalization of many things. Earlier, if you remember, you had to fill 10 numbers of forms and do this and do that and go to this and that, which has started coming on as simplified processes as possible. But then we have to adapt ourselves or connect ourselves with a digital system or a digitalized system which is external for us. So we have to plug into that. Within ourselves, there are various processes, and each process will require a different approach, a digital approach. A simple example is our trailers. They are fitted with GPS systems. Now, in this GPS systems, there are various parameters which are coming and being fed into the main system, the digital system of ours. As an example, speed, time, the route, and so forth, the name of the driver, and so many other things, so many other parameters, which is coming from a digitalized system, which we call it as GPS system, which is these days pretty complicated when it comes to logistics. That is fed into the system. So we know in the system, we know from this data, which is analyzed by the transportation team, and they do their planning based on that. When it comes to handling of the cargo in a CFS situation where there are tens and thousands of containers lying everywhere, how do I trace one particular container in a pool of say 10,000 containers without wasting time? Time is of essence. Now there comes another system, digitalized system, where we are able to trace each container in these 1,000 containers in a short period of time. So what I'm trying to say here is it's a beautiful, synchronized, harmonious. It's kind of an orchestrated activities and different processes which are happening. In that is a person as well. So for us, when it comes to HR related systems, we cannot just keep ourselves away and say that we cannot be digitalized. We'll have to be. That's a necessity of the hour, because from our attendance, a simple thing as an attendance, which is fed into the system, we come to know, and then we allocate the person for the particular process depending on the attendance. So I can't be putting it in a manual way and then just going and telling it will not just work. So in HR as well, we give it as a feedback. Now, when it comes to leave, for example, so when it comes to leave and people are applying for leaves, it's not just HR which is interested with this data. Yeah, statutorily we might be using that data for statutory or for people management. Yes, but this data is also used by the operations team. It is used by a transportation team. It is used by many other things, so that they can pull this data and use it for their planning and their orchestration of the work. So that's why one answer is we cannot separate it. We have to look at the processes. It's very process and people oriented. So on one hand comes the process, on the other hand comes the people. And how we are doing it in our organization, as I told you, that various different processes, different types of softwares, hardwares, processes are there, which is integrated into each other. So they talk to each other. So it's basically, if you look at it and visualize it, it's a software talking to a software. It is a person talking to a person. It is, it's a system talking to system, and that's how the entire thing works so smoothly. Because for logistics, time is of essence. We cannot be, just losing on time. So this is how we are doing it at Transworld Group.
That's great. That's great. So what I understand or what I figured out is basically bringing a seamless connectivity in the entire ecosystem
Yes.
actually fulfills the expectation of the employees.
Yes.
That's a great view. That is a great view. Okay, moving to my next question with Ritesh. So Ritesh, Your being a very progressive organization, it might have been a continuous endeavor of the CHROs to ensure excellent employer branding. So that becomes vital to attract top talents from the industry nowadays because they look for the company, not company looks for them. So how does your company ensure good branding and what measures and policies really set you apart? Ritesh, I think you are on mute.
Yeah, sorry. See, as an
Yeah.
organization, especially into manufacturing industry of automotive industry, we call it, the retention of talent and then attracting the talent plays a very vital role. And the retention and attraction of talent is an amalgamation of various things. I mean, it is policy, it is the culture you put in, it is the work environment you put in for all the employees. Okay, so we at PIX, we have designed and very specific career growth oriented succession plan. So we have identified what are our key positions, and based on the key positions, we have identified our talent. And based on the specific period of a talent, we groom them so that our contingency map for handling our critical functions is ready. Okay, then we have very specific job descriptions. We call it as a role clarity document, where each employee is being given role accountability and the authority to explain what are their roles, which are we accountable for them. So then we have a very specific training modules for our critical talent, and we call it as a non-critical talent.
Okay.
And we ensure that there is a rapid growth of the employee within the organization through various HR initiatives. Then leveraging all these processes, we have a employee engagement initiatives we drive at our organizations. So we are amalgamation of this employee engagement initiatives and HR processes, so that we can put in a very specific structure to drive and attract the talent. We being at Nagpur location, it is a challenge to attract the talent. So either we pay for niche skills, or we either retain a talent or get a local talent and then groom them. So we have specific positions mapped like this. Whether our skill requirement is critical, so we get an outside talent with the lucrative pay packages where we matches with our market. And then we, for support functions and for other core positions, we have our try to get a local talent. We have various initiatives like fixed term employment, where we get the fresher candidates from the engineering institutes. We train them, we observe them over the span of period, and once they are trained, then we get them into lower positions.
Okay.
And slowly, gradually, we train them to a specific skill set which are required by the organization. So these are the few policies and processes through which we try to attract the talent and retain the talent.
Oh, that's excellent. Because so what I could understand is building a very good career graph for the potential employees or your current employees also, that has been your major selling point as a branding.
Yes.
And
yes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ritesh.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
Moving to my next point, Jatan, so yeah, you being part of one of the very progressive manufacturing organization where you are having tie-up with several global majors. So you might have observed that Gen Z and millennials, they're being very much prevalent and talked about subject in the industry today. And these people are considered to job hop frequently to broaden their experience and portfolio. So do you think that there are other factors that contribute to this scenario? And how can the organizations really tackle these factors and enhance the employee experience within the organization?
Sure. We can. Very good afternoon to everyone. And very interesting question. First, I would like to say about job hopping. There are various factors to it. It's not just the experience out to broaden your capabilities. There are certain factors to it. Sometimes there's a push factors within your organization which push you out for some reasons, and then there are pull factors from market. Certain times the supply demand graph does not match at some times, and then there will be a pull factor from the organizations outside. Overall, this mindset of stability which was there before for an employee, that employee was looking for a stability, stable organization, was looking for something, where they can go and retire. I think it has changed with this new set of millennials. They are more into, looking for excellence. They want to excel at everything. They want to, have the best of the best of the best everywhere. And I think that is what is, creating this such a huge job hobby. But at the same time, if you create a good employee experience, your key talents or your critical talents and the talent which you really want to retain for your organization, there will be some generate definitely, but there will be key good talent for you who can take your legacy forward, or who can give you exponential growth. For this employee experience, I think the culture is very important. The softer aspects to the entire organization is very important, which are very less spoke about. I think I think culture for me would be at Tata Advanced Systems, we are majorly into three various aspects. One is growth, second is absolutely well-being, and third is the culture of pride. So these three things, when I start with a growth, we have there is one called personal growth, and then there is a professional growth. So of course the career, transparent about your career growth, transparent about how you will grow into organization. And it's not just vertical, it can be horizontal. We have various organizations, various different kinds of activities. All of the OEMs across world in defense are working with us in kind of exposure which you can give horizontally also, because you cannot promote everyone every time. So that is something which is very critical. Of course, personal growth in terms of giving them best of the trainings, giving them chance to become master, do their masters, do MBAs through various programs. That is something I think which will retain our talent a lot. Coming to the well-being, and I think when we say well-being, most of the organizations are restricted to the employees. I think the family or the people around the employee are the people who, pull or push that person for changing the job or remaining in that organization. So, if you keep your family engaged, if you keep your home ministry engaged, I think your government won't fall. So, family well-being is a very important aspect which should be looked upon, and which we are currently doing for our workman category employees, so that we find and we have found really interesting results. We have also tried to make the housewives capable, and give them some skills so that they can earn themselves. So these are very positive feedbacks which we have received from there. And also the third thing is about pride. I think if you are proud of what you are doing, or if you believe in the company which you are working in, if that is the case, then I don't see any amount of compensation, any amount of culture change would be able to pull you out of that organization, because you would be believing for that cause of that organization. So for that, the organization's goal is also very important. And the last thing I would definitely say in this entire journey, organization needs to be agile. Cultural changes needs to be very agile. If I would take example of my organization before COVID, only 5% would be using Teams meetings of the over the, and I think majority would have not even heard of what Teams was. And right now, I think 95% of the meetings are taken care by Teams. So how the digital, there are this kind of transformations or disruptions which comes through the market, and I think you have to adapt them. Also, if you have started adopting earlier and be agile, then I think this disruptions would not disrupt you. And then that is why the entire digital journey is very important for any organization.
That's great to hear, Jatan, and it might have been a bit easy for you, especially for the Gen Z or millennials, because you can tell them that I'm building C-295 aircraft for Indian Army, Indian Air Force,
Absolutely.
sorry, and also like I'm building up the wings of F-16 globally. So excellent. That can be a good attraction for your Gen Z and millennials.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Jatan. Moving to my next one, I'll get back to Dr. Ajit again. So Dr. Ajit, what I understood from your first response that definitely you might have faced a tough time during the pandemic, especially during the peak of pandemic, because you had to keep your organization on the business as you are part of logistics industry, and you definitely had been supplying the medical supply, emergency medical supplies, or any other supplies that was coming across from different other countries. So how did you really ensure that you kept your employees motivated, you kept your entire business on during this period? And what are the specific measures you had taken?
Yeah, so as I said that we are into shipping and logistics, and Transworld group of companies has got everything about shipping. Like we have our own ships, we have got 14 ships of our own. We have got our own warehouses. We have got our own fleet of trailers. So CFSs, we have got about 5 CFSs. So if you look at the entire gamut of activities that we do, they are different types of activities. At the same time, each activity in itself is a very crucial activity. Very few people are aware that shipping and logistics and ports, they came under essential services. We, on a lighter note, I mean it's not, but on the lighter note, most of us wanted to work from home because moving out on the streets during those times was scary. There were so many changes in the rules and regulations. We would go on the road, we were expected to be present at our workplaces. And the administrative wing of our government, police and all, they had different set of instructions. So they would clash, and we would, especially for the people who work at night shifts, it was very difficult for them during initial days. So this isn't just to give you a background of what things happened. Now you can imagine a situation where we are supposed to be moving out of our houses, leaving our families back, going out, and I don't want to recall all those days. I mean, God forbid that they come back again. But if you remember those days, we didn't know when we were going out. No one really knew what are we getting into. I mean, absolutely, we may come back infected, we may come back, I don't know how. And that was the mindset, the emotions, the emotional status for us. And that's how it was. So you can imagine the family that we left behind. They were pulling us inside, and they didn't want us, and so on and so forth. Things happened. Emotionally, mentally, physically, we were challenged. It was a tough time. As an example, let me tell you another small example I'll give you. As I told you that we have got a fleet of trailers, so about hundreds of them. And in the first cycle, the drivers just left the trailers on the road and they ran away. They just fled. So we didn't know where are our trailers, who's going to bring it back, how it is going to happen. That time, then we got together. I mean, that was a time that I had to forego with the so-called processes and things, and we had to be very innovative, out-of-box thinking. And we formed teams together. We arranged for some drivers, we arranged for our own vehicles. We used to track the vehicle, get it back. We then formed a team which actually stayed inside the CFS, and we provided for their everything, all the needs, anything, everything was provided within. Now our job was to make sure that their needs, food, clothing, shelter, everything, that we had to procure it from such a place, bring it, make it available to them so that they function. So our challenges during those days was out-of-box thinking. We really did not have any process. We really did not have any methodology. Right, wrong, we didn't know whether this is the way. There was no analysis. There was no kind of feedback system. Nothing. All we knew is just one target, that the logistics chain, the entire thing has to keep moving. It has to have, so there came a lot of changes in processes, in methods, in ways of doing things. One of the trailers I had to drive because there was nobody there, so I had to also do the thing. So driving a trailer is nothing to do with HR, but then during those days, yes, everybody changed the roles and they did it. So that is how we survived. We brought the entire thing. I think it was just 10% of the entire workforce that was available with us. Rest, about 90% of them were just out. They could not come. They were not well. They had to leave. Most of our workforces come from northern side, so they just left. And with this 10% of people, we ensured that the work does not suffer. That is where the digitalization part really helped us, because when in absence of people, then how do we? So we were forced to fall back on digital methods, systems, communicating, talking, getting in touch, coordinating, all these things. And I would say that when these platforms were available and we had their, so the entire thing, whether it is motivating a person, whether taking care of him, whether just counseling him, whatever it came, we were there, we did it. And
Great.
I think, as I told you, that I'm from a psychology background, so every chapter of the book I must have used for whatever reason. So there was no one way. I mean, I won't sit here and say that I motivated anybody. Where's the question of motivated when you are surrounded with infection? So self, all that thing. So all the processes which I have learned or used, we used it in a mixed way. Team motivating each other, keeping each other informed, supporting each other. All these things worked, and that's how we could survive from that big day. And we were appreciated by many government organizations because we saw to it that all the medical facilities stuff, they kept moving. We could not afford to stop it because things had to reach out, to move to places. They had to be cleared, whether it came hospital equipments or medicines or so many other stuffs were there which were in the container. So we made it sure that it is reaching to the masses, and it's so that was our part of contribution in the entire thing.
Sincere appreciation for selling that very difficult journey, and I'm sure it has made you future-proof also. Moving to the next point, the quick thing, because in the interest of time, I'll just make it short. So moonlighting is something which you might have seen is making a lot of buzzword nowadays. So this moonlighting, so what is your point of view, Jatan? So do you think moonlighting is something that you can encourage, or it is something it is totally prohibited from your point of view? Maybe just from the holistic point of view, may not be relevant to your organization even.
Yeah, sure. So, okay. First of all, I think moonlighting has its own positives and negatives. I'm not going to get into it, but my only, main thing is that, as I believe, is that moonlighting is a thing of past. I think that we had that because we had, primarily on organized sector people working in major into unorganized sectors where we are not paid properly. Second was there were single bread owners across families, and where the person had to work twice or thrice or do 3 jobs to just to run the family. Now the times have really changed. Rather than making one person work, empowering the entire family, to get them a livelihood, get them, daily incomes. I think that will really help. Moonlighting from the very, very ethical perspective, I don't see it, very healthy process. Overall work-life balance, overall, employee would, or a person would spend entire life working and working and working, not even spending time with family. I think it is necessary necessary somewhere at some level, some stratas where we don't understand where it is still required. But I think, empowering the family, empowering the women across, would reduce this drastically. I don't believe that anyone is moonlighting by choice. They would be pursuing some hobbies. I don't consider that as a moonlighting thing. But when you say moonlighting or doing two official jobs just to earn, specifically to earn, is some completely different thing. And I think that should be, anywhere you should be, discouraging it in a way to try to manage that person is able, that he or she should not do it doing this moonlighting thing. I think that's my point of view.
Great. Thank you so much, Jatin. So the last part I quickly wanted to discuss with Ritesh was, so Ritesh, what I understood from your earlier response that you're pretty much encouraging a very robust career graph for your employees. So absolutely, you have leveraged technology a lot, might be, because to provide some new generation a different kind of context like better compensation, flexibility of work or fulfillment of career. It will be very important that you leverage technology upfront to cater this entire expectation of the new age employees. So any point of view on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Leveraging technology along with HR processes is the new era right now. So because manual intervention and routine intervention, most of our manual efforts are being put into a routine work. I mean, which takes a lot of time. I mean, which takes and consumes a lot of time. And to make our processes efficient and reduce the lead time of the processes, like confirmations, timely appraisals, then training need, nominations, attending the training sessions through online becomes far more easier nowadays. So that achievements we have done through technological interventions.
Great.
Even our succession planning and even our competency mapping process is online and is mapped through our interventions and HRIS services, where we have designed a particular path through our HRIS solution where the employee is appraised by the appraiser, is being well-defined career path, and then it is being groomed drastically. Even our time payroll services, where our maximum time goes for our team. So we have reduced drastically by around 50% by making our payroll processes digitized and through HRIS solution. So your error, the human error drastically reduces and your process accuracy increases. So that's why I think your technological interventions are very important. And it removes your completely red tapeism, your timeliness, effectiveness of the processes is improved because everything is workflow based, and reminders can be set to run the processes as per the design timelines. Now we have this balance scorecard concept where we have implemented, and we have a quarterly evaluation process. So automated reminders are being given to employees. Automated reminders are given to HODs to how to evaluate, I mean, when to evaluate, what's the pending status, and the reports are being manually drafted, and your automized reports are being taken out and presented to the management for data analysis, and then a scientific pay for performance or pay for potential or pay for position. Any principle can be used to reward and recognize an employee. That's why I think technological intervention plays a major thing. But for this, organization has to be ready to accept the change. Sometimes there are, I mean, very typical old mindset methodology, which is very hard to break that. But slowly we have to show more patience, give them what are the benefits and return on investment if you put a foot forward in getting these technological interventions.
Great, thank you so much, Ritesh. So
thank you,
with this, I would like to bring the curtain down on this fascinating session we had just now. So before closing, I'd just like to summarize the great thoughts we gathered from the discussion. So in today's world, CHROs do not only think about employee recruitment, but also about employee engagement, learning, and sustainability of the businesses. And CHRO role is gradually becoming more of a guidance for the CEO. Hence, being proactive and understanding the shifts is extremely imperative. So thank you so much, and my sincere thanks to all the leaders for taking part and providing mindshare to the audience. Thank you so much. Over to you, Bridget.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Shabik. Thank you to all the leaders who were a part of this panel discussion. Next, we have the session Navigating the Skills Conundrum, a session to understand how the future of work relies on the future of skills. Accelerating the workplace's digital journey carries tremendous execution risk. For organizations to thrive, they need to access their people's full potential and develop and execute new dynamic strategies. To make this a priority, HR and the C-suite need to be aligned on what roles will be needed in the next 3, 5, or 10 years, as well as what skills will be needed to fill those roles. To discuss this further with us, please welcome Mr. Mahesh N., Senior AVP HR, Tefe Limited. In his career spanning more than 34 years in human resource management, he has built an expertise in employee engagement and employee relations. He has been a featured speaker at various business, education, and industry forums and has won several awards, among which are CII HR Excellence Award 2004, Strengths Performance Coach Award by Gallup University 2007, and so on and so forth. He is known to efficiently match HR process performance to business needs. We also have Ms. Gurpreet Sethi, who is CHROMA Strategic Accounts Manager. So please welcome Mr. Mahesh and Ms. Gurpreet.
Thank you. Thank you, Bridget. Welcome, Mr. Mahesh. Thank you for joining us for this third edition of CHROMA InnerCircle. It's a pleasure to have you today.
Thank you. Thank you, Gurpreet.
To begin with, sir, according to an SHRM survey, we found that 48% of the employees felt that training opportunities were one of the perks that attracted them to their current company. And more than 3/4 say that they are more likely to stay within a company that offers continuous learning. Major innovations and advancements have happened in the manufacturing industry, which demands upskilling and acumen for the latest technology and applications. Therefore, we feel that organizations need better tools to train their employees so that they can meet the evolving business needs in the future, while they also keep their skill sets within the organization. And when an organization invests in training, it communicates to its employees that they are more valued members of the team and have a unique and critical role to play. According to a recent SHRM survey, we also found that majority of the CXOs have created a culture of continuous learning within their organization. But still more than 50% of the employees pursue learning opportunities outside their workplace. It may be due to the absence of right learning ecosystem or some other factors. So with that, sir, my very first question to you would be, what according to you are the common barriers for an effective learning and development?
Yeah, thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah, see, there is a general process in any new product development, be it a car, automobile, or something. You start from the voice of customer, and you capture the needs, then design a product and deliver it. This is the thumb rule. So this same concept applies in designing a training program. So you first involve the employee. The training need analysis, it's a very expert area. Now, in HR, not many people are trained in this actually, how to do a training need analysis. There were experts earlier years. So 3 levels of training need is identified. One is at individual level, what somebody aspires or would like to get trained as a part of his individual development plan. And the next level is the functional level, where his boss looks at his skill gaps or competency gaps and recommends some training. And third one is the organization level, where some major change initiatives are happening. So these three buckets constitute the overall training. And once you arrive at this, the pedagogy design is a very an expertise area, how you deliver this training. It can be a blended learning, it can be a classroom lecture, it can be a webinar, it can be a digital self-learning package. Now there are many tools available. So once you have this systematic approach, I think there will be no barrier to training from the individual or at any level. There is a famous paradox which is known as you can Google it and see, it's known as Abilene paradox. The Abilene paradox is a simple story where in a US in a county known as Abilene, one member of the family wanted to go outing on a summer. So he proposes that idea to his family members, and all family members, okay, they go with him in a hot summer and come back. And after coming back from the outing, they all feel frustrated. It was so hot, humid, so it was not good. And then they start discussing within themselves why they agreed in the first place to go. So they all felt, no, somebody took the decision. So I just wanted to be part of it. I didn't say no. So this is what typically happens in organization. HR guys randomly pick, or no, they use their wisdom to say that no, this training is required for this set of people, and they just start giving nominations without a proper training need analysis. So what happens is participants just come and sit in the training, they don't participate. So this is the paradox. So the learning out of this is involve the employee, look at his aspirations, career related, and also his skill set related, and look at the functional domain related expertise which is required. Maybe his boss can say it. And the third top up layer is the organization level requirement on any major change initiatives like digital tools or something. So by this structured approach, we can overcome the barrier of training.
Sure. Very nicely articulated, sir, how a systematic approach should be used for the learning and development of the employees within the organization, and how we need to analyze the requirements, the need of the employees basis on their job roles. With that, to continue the session, we've also seen that today this era is of constant change. Skill crisis and talent wars are more prominent than ever before. And upskilling has become one of the vital strategies if we want to retain the employees and gain a competitive edge. So what skilling measures do you think, or other policies that set you apart as an organization, and how can other organizations learn and adopt them?
Yeah, so we adopt a model known as Colin Beams model. So Colin Beams, he's an Australian professor. So he has this way of capturing what are the critical organizational capabilities and where the role resides. It's known as strategic workforce planning. You can Google it and see Colin Beams. He's on LinkedIn and everything. He's a very senior HR consultant. So that it's like a mapping. So you do a multi-dimensional analysis of your organization relating to your product process, what technologies this organization is going to embrace, what technologies that is going to disrupt your product or customer or business. So you map these technologies and you try to see whether you have to build, buy or borrow. Build in terms of training your people, buy means recruit people, borrow means you take a consultant or tie up with some knowledge provider or a technology partner. So the Colin Beams model, if you follow and systematically, it will scan your market or the your ecosystem for the next 3 to 5 years and tell you which skill you need to build, buy or borrow. Is this very few organizations follow this. Instead of a typical manpower planning, in TAFE we do this strategic workforce planning. So this is one thing by which you will be able to have some visibility of the future and the skill sets required.
Thank you, sir, for sharing that information. And also, we've seen that when it comes to TAFE's product training center has been effectively meeting the training needs by either providing multilingual classroom programs, be it field trainings or be it practical sessions, as you mentioned. So do you feel that to navigate through a global slowdown, investing in learning development has become more important than ever before?
Yeah, see, this often quote, which you would have seen, it will be more costly to have an untrained employee with you than having a trained employee who is with you for some time, contributes, and even if he leaves, that is okay. But to get saddled with an untrained employee who has an obsolete skill set, it will be very, very what do you say, damaging to the organization. So in anything, there is a value proposition. So, for example, ours is a very machine product. So somebody needs to explain it, features, functions, and sell it. So if you're not having a trained salesman front end talking to your customers who are your farmers, so he will not be able to convince a farmer. So farmer, though illiterate, but his IQ level is high. So the more you train your front end salespeople on the features of your product, so they will be able to sell well and make a value proposition for the customer. So I think I answered your question saying that so we have a very big learning center. It's a digital learning center. Now we have virtually no classroom training. So we have augmented reality, virtual reality, and a 3D studio, webinar, webcast we will be able to do. So all this training are delivered to our front-end salesmen right on their mobile. So they can see it, any product they can download, see what are its USPs, how it functions, and what are the top talking points, selling points on that product. So we have leveraged technology to a great extent, though a tractor company operating in a rural market, but our training is high tech. We have one of the India's highest invested digital learning training center, something equivalent to your L&T EduTech or something. That equivalent training center we have, it is known as the TAFE University. So we are having a lot of academies in it where people employees log into it. Our dealer personnel can log into it, get a certified online training program. So this is one of the USP of TAFE.
Great, sir. So you've already highlighted, how you are fostering innovation in your organization by not just focusing on the classroom trainings, but yes, on high-tech digital trainings that you're currently, using in your organization. With that, sir, there's a famous quote by Benjamin Franklin. Tell me and I forget, teach me and I may remember, involve me and I learn. So what do you think are TAFE's strategy that help it to create an engaging learning experience?
See, it's not only of TAFE. Any HR person will definitely have a psychology background and a sociology background, and they will be familiar with something known as Kolb's learning cycle, KOLBS learning cycle. So which ultimately captures what Benjamin Franklin says. So it's a 4-stage learning cycle. It's not as closed loop learning actually. So one is you have a concrete experience that is there out of your current job, and the second stage is your reflective observation. You observe how any other technology works, how other system works, and the third one is sit back and reflect. It's known as abstract conceptualization. So something out of the blue, how will it work in my product, in my process? That is our next higher level thinking. And the fourth higher level thinking is active experimentation. So this learning, unless it follows this cycle or path, and it is closed loop with active experimentation, nobody will be able to remember, recall another thing. This is also supported by one more powerful evaluation of training. So the famous question for any HR guy is, how do you measure training? So how do you measure ROI of training? So we have a Bloom's taxonomy model, which starts from looking at first whatever I teach, whether you remember at the first level through a pre-test, post-test, how much you remember what is taught. And the second level is understanding. Third level is applying on the job. Fourth level is able to analyze after I applied what is the outcome, and evaluating and creating into a business process or a product. So the Bloom's taxonomy model, if you by and large, if you follow the first 3-4 steps, you will have a very effective training mechanism. And also the Kolb's learning cycle, where you encourage people to do active experimentation of what they have learned. So that will get embedded, and it becomes a skill set of them. So they will never forget it. It's like teaching swimming online and making somebody to swim in the swimming pool. So you encourage them for active experimentation, whatever, be it a management subject or a finance subject or a technology subject or a soft skill. You do a role play, ask them to do something. Their absorption of learning will be very, very high.
Great. And do you also think, sir, that in addition to the points that you mentioned, personalized learning is one of the strategies that can also be adopted for an engaging learning experience? Will that help the employees?
See, personalized learning, there are different kinds of learning. One is one-on-one, they call it coaching or something. Peer-to-peer learning, see, in TAFE, we have known as project learning circles, or we encourage 4 or 5 of them to work together and cross learning and do a project. It's known as project learning circles. So one-to-one requires a lot of time, and the frequency matching between the coach and the person who is getting trained, mentor-mentee kind of a thing. So we are encouraging 4 to 5 project learning circles. We divide groups from the participants, and we give some project for them, 4 or 5 people to discuss, work, experiment, and put it together. So we find peer-to-peer learning is more powerful than one-on-one learning.
Great. So with that, Mr. Mahesh, we come towards the end of this session, and thank you so much for sharing such valuable insights. But before we close, I would like to summarize this session. So I do feel that companies must focus on upskilling and reskilling their existing workforce, as well as investing in new technology and automation to bridge their skills gap. Additionally, organizations should also foster a culture of continuous learning and development so that it can create opportunities for the employees and develop their new skills. And by adopting such a holistic and proactive approach, companies would definitely, successfully overcome the skill challenges and build a workforce that is well equipped to meet the challenges of the future. So with that, I would like to end the session, and thank you, Mr. Mahesh. Over to you, Bridget.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Gurpreet, and thank you to Mr. Mahesh. Thank you again for that very educating session. Next, we have a conversation that will give us a glimpse into the C-suite and what are their priorities in building a purpose-led organization. Firms improve their performance when employees believe in a purpose and when the pathway to reach this purpose is clear. The role of the leader is first to inspire creative thinking about what makes the company unique, how it links to purpose, and why it could be valuable, and then to encourage rigor in embedding it in the company's core. To understand this better, we have with us Ms. Komal Darekar, Head HR, Bajaj Finance Limited. Komal has over 16 years of experience in financial services and other industries. She comes with strong business acumen and exposure to multiple roles in human resource spanning from talent acquisition, HR business partnering, center of excellence, and HR analytics. She has a comprehensive knowledge of dynamics of people management across industries and geographies and possesses exceptional analytical skills. Due to her knowledge of HR tools, she is known to be a problem solver in crisis and an active contributor to regular strategic decisions. We also have Ms. Smita Dhage with a rich 18+ years of experience in IT industry with expertise in customer delivery and management. She is currently the CHROMA Customer Delivery Head, and she will be moderating the session today. So welcome, Ms. Darekar, and welcome, Smita.
Good evening, everyone. Hi.
Thank you, Bridget. Good evening, Komal, and a warm welcome to this session. So when we talk about a purpose-led organization, this organization has a very clear and a defined purpose. And this purpose is the organization aspiration reason for being. It gives you the unifying vision for any organization. And it also helps them in prioritizing its values and goals. So the first question to you, Komal, like in your opinion, what it means to be a purpose-driven organization and what are its benefits?
Sure. Thank you, Smita. I think it's a great opportunity. I've been hearing some of the conversations and great insights that I've heard. Well, on your question, what I feel about what it means to have a purpose-driven organization is, organizations, those are driven by a very clear and meaningful objective and purpose that goes beyond financial goals, which are not restricted to just profit making organizations. Typically, it reflects in the values and beliefs and goals of the organization, and these organizations are able to create a much larger positive impact and value, and not just to their shareholders, but it goes beyond. It will go beyond to the society, the environment, its employees, and all the other stakeholders that the company has. To us, it becomes more like a DNA of the organization, which means they have to be embedded into the strategy, the operations, the way we operate, the culture, and the overall alignment to the organization goals. And some of the benefits of being a purpose-led organization is it will help you have a engaged workforce. Your retention rates are going to be higher because employees are going to feel motivated, more aligned to the organization's purpose and values. The minute they feel the association there, the want to be in that company is is there, and in turn, it impacts the performance of the employees positively. It helps you in creating a great brand reputation, because your customers, your investors, your prospective employees positively associate with the brand because they associate with the purpose of the company. Right. We'll also be able to attract a lot of talent, given the newer generation. They want to find a purpose in the work that they do. So if organizations are looking at hiring diverse workforce, I think they need to have a purpose-driven organization which goes beyond the financial goals. And overall, I think it helps us create a positive impact on the society, its environment. It helps organizations become more sustainable, have a more equitable approach, and a profitable helps them be a more profitable organization in turn. So that's my perspective on being a purpose-driven organization.
Yeah, very well articulated that the need of purpose, being a purpose-driven organization in today's era. And you are correctly pointed out, like nowadays, like post-pandemic, like we have seen a shift in the employees aspects also to look at the work. The employees have started looking at for a meaningful work at the purpose-driven organization, especially the new age workers, new age professionals who are looking for these employers who are giving back to the society. It's more than their remuneration or the benefits that they are getting.
Correct.
And in this organization, like who will bridge this gap? Like who will, rather I would say, the align the employee's purpose with the organization purpose is the human resources. So Komal, I would like you to talk about the role of HR in fostering the purpose-driven culture in the organization.
I think HR plays a critical role in aligning the purpose and values of the organization to the larger workforce, because I think HR becomes the mediator between the organization, the leadership, and the employees, and are key stakeholders in driving this culture through various people practices, and also how do they empower the employees through operational practices, through systems, etc., to achieve the common goal. So I think they do play a critical role. And if I have to speak about a few HR priorities that help us foster a purpose-driven culture, to me, I would start with the hiring for purpose, which means creating recruitment practices which focus on evaluating and assessing candidates for the right cultural fitment. I think that's where you start, right? It's important. Second is driving the culture through the leadership and various functions. Each organization runs and have multiple functions. Driving a similar culture and purpose becomes challenging, and I think HR plays a critical role there. aligning the purpose to the performance management systems of the organization is also important, because ultimately the purpose should also connect to the goals of the employees, and having building a performance management program that embeds the purpose of the organization uh, also helps employees align their goals and purpose to the company. So some of the practices are these. The others could be, even in learning and development plays a larger role. How do you develop your leaders, create programs which help the leaders use their leadership skills, practice purpose-driven leadership skills, etc. And creating practices which are equitable, ethical, and sustainable. I think these are just a few. I think HR plays a real big role here in driving a purpose-driven culture.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So HR has a very critical role in such organization. So now, we'll talk about the Bajaj Finance and about its culture. Like we have seen that, the Bajaj Finance has created a workplace culture that aligns their organization purpose by running the lot of employee-centric programs and initiatives. Okay, and I would also like to highlight to everyone here that Bajaj Finance has recognized in the top 30 best places to work in a BFS sector 2022 by the Great Place to Work Institute. So, Komal, we would like to understand, what are the initiatives and programs that BFL has implemented to support their organization purpose, and how do you, ensure that this purpose is integrated into all the aspects of these operations, right from the decision making to the employee engagement.
Right. So, BFL stands for its values, and we have our values, which are our 14 cultural anchors, is what we call them. And they're the beliefs that are embedded in they're like the DNA of the organization, and they inspire us. They help us in our day-to-day, how do we operate, etc., and give us a competitive advantage. And our cultural anchors are the way we do everything that help us create an impact as well. And basically there are 4 or 5 things that the anchors help us in. One is creating a mindset, a mindset that is aligned to the organization, which focuses on aspects like continuous transformation, which helps us set newer benchmark, driving a culture of excellence. We are not okay with mediocre work. We want to do our best. Creating an agile and a nimble and a flexible organization. We have a self-motivated team, which is high on ambition. We believe in long-term focus, etc. The other aspect, apart from mindset, that the company focuses on is developing a character, which is basically integrity. One of our cultural anchors is integrity, which talks about and helps employees display righteous conduct towards a customer, towards financial matters, towards employees. And we've got strong policies and practices which ensure that we have zero tolerance towards non-compliance to integrity. So we have a strong team there. We want to be a very humble organization. We are doing well quarter on quarter. We perform at a 40% CAGR. But we don't want that to get to our head, because we know that we want to do much more than what we've been doing. So we believe in being extremely humble about our achievements. The way we do things is driven through our sense of ownership, execution rigor, hard work, drive. These are the 4 or 5 cultural anchors that help us do that. And last but not the least, the way we engage with our people. There is high focus on emotional intelligence, which focuses, leaders and managers being empathetic and sensitive towards their teams and, their peers. We drive a culture of open and transparent communication, and rewarding success is one of our key cultural anchors, where we recognize employees, we reward their performance, and we celebrate their performance through various practices. So, it is not just what we focus on what we do, but how we do is what makes us different. And all our practices and our policies are around these cultural anchors.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. As you said, right, it is there in your DNA. So when a lot of us, like when we think about Bajaj, so it reminds me of that ad lyric from the 80s campaign, like Bulanda Bharat ki Bulanda Tasveer, Hamara Bajaj. So yeah, it is there in your DNA, like, and that's how the culture the Bajaj has. And now I'll move on to the next question. Like we have seen that BFL has been having huge investment in adopting the latest technology. And so the next question to you, Komal, like how do you think, like how can technology assist in achieving a purpose-driven organization?
Well, it does play a big role, and given that, especially when you have a diverse workforce, we have a employee strength of about 35,000 employees spread across over 36,000 locations. So technology does play a big role for us, and I think it helps you in amplifying your impact. Basically, you can reach out to wider audience. This when the scale increases, the efficiency and messaging to a larger organization is supported through technology. It also helps us in improving transparency and accountability, where the tools we have various tools which help us driving standardization and more accountability by the teams which are implementing and working, ensuring a lot of compliance at ground level. So the tools that we have implemented help us do that. Technology also helps you in collaboration and innovation. There are multiple tools for innovation, problem solving. We do have programs like the annual operating plan, as well as the long range strategy, where we reach out to the larger organization to collaborate and innovate and find the best things that we want to do in the market. And technology has played a large role in that. I also believe that a lot of tasks are repetitive in nature. It is helping us automate a lot of tasks and making it simpler for the employees and making it simpler for the customers also. So we invest heavily in both customer satisfaction as well as employee satisfaction. How do you make their lives easy? So it does play a big role.
So thank you, Komal, for sharing the valuable insights. Okay, let me just summarize it now. So first of all, the organization that have a clear sense of purpose can not only achieve the goals, but also have a positive impact on the world and leave a lasting legacy. Okay, and the HR plays a very critical role in shaping and driving the culture and the values of the organization. So likewise, the technology also plays a very critical role to make the life simpler of the employees, as you said, the employees as well as your customers. Okay, thank you very much for that session. Yeah, thank you, Komal, for your time.
Thank you, great connecting. Thank you.
Over to you, Prashit.
Thank you, Smita. Thank you, Ms. Darikar, for having shared with us on how BFL strives to build a purpose-driven workplace. Next in line is a panel discussion on the confluence of machine intelligence and human perception. The continued improvement of AI to perform human-led tasks have raised reasonable fears for leaders and employees that AI will ultimately replace humans in the workforce. However, research shows the opposite to be true. Through collaborative intelligence, the act of AI and humans joining forces, companies can be more competitive than they can with either AI or humans alone. Let us understand this further with an impressive panel of leaders. Please welcome Ms. Abha Band, National Head, Human Resources at Bajaj Housing Finance Limited. She has an extensive experience in HR activities such as manpower planning, recruitment and selection, performance management, employee relations, employee development, and a holistic experience in managing end-to-end recruitments. She has hands-on experience in resolving employee grievances and is a keen communicator with the ability to relate to people across all hierarchical levels in the organization. Mr. Ronit Mohanty is a part of the group Human Resources team at Tata Sons. He has been instrumental in driving key organization-wide projects on HR transformation, HR digitization, group synergy, organization effectiveness, analytics, HR process improvement, and automation. Mr. Ajay Bharadwaj, Deputy General Manager, Corporate HR at DS Group, a Tata Institute of Social Sciences Mumbai alumnus. He's a dynamic and vibrant performance-driven HR, having 17 plus years of industry-rich experience in cross-functional areas of human resource management and development. He is currently associated with DS Group as DGM Corporate HR, heading the talent acquisition, compensation and benefits, engagement, and OD functions at the corporate level. And lastly, we have Mr. Trilok Reddy, who will moderate this discussion. Trilok is the head of CHROMA Product Services with over 2.5 decades of experience in the IT industry, of which 20 years being in HR consulting. Let us welcome Trilok and this impressive panel of leaders. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Bridget, and good afternoon and a warm welcome to our panelists. And thank you for joining us for this third edition of InnerCircle. Now, our panel discussion topic for today is highly talked about in the last few years regarding application of artificial intelligence and machine learning in the HR practices and shaping up of the future of the work. Today, AI touches every aspect of our personal and professional, I mean, some or the other way, right? So while some of the organizations have started harnessing the power of AI and machine learning into their talent-related decision-making processes, while others are still lagging behind. So let me start with the first question to Abha. Abha, HR heads and CHROs play a very vital role in driving the organizations towards a sustainable competitive advantage in this data and digital-driven HR world. The ability of HR heads and CHROs to attract talent and motivate employees can play a pivotal role in determining whether the organization will flourish and meet its goals or not. So my question to you is how the role of HR heads or CHROs has changed as more and more technologies like machine intelligence and artificial intelligence and all get infused into HR and talent workspace. If you could help us with your short thoughts on that, please.
Sure, Trilok. It's a very interesting question, to be very honest. Technology and the way things are changing, both in from a perspective of HR or how we are interacting or humans are interacting with technologies to a very large extent. We are focusing a lot right now on creating an experience for every touch point that we have for employees. And of course, AI ML is helping us out with a lot of places where we can create a difference and create a seamless experience. Okay. So how do I see the role of CHRO changing with AI and ML coming in picture and perspective? I see there are multiple things that as a CHRO we have to look at. First and foremost is, of course, how do we create a business case for implementing or making technology as part of life of every individual in the organization and also for the business benefit. If we cannot have a business benefit case study that we can create, we are missing the strategic focus to bring technology in the organization. Second is how do we make it more adaptable and how we can make it more simpler for everybody to accept technology in the organization. So one of the leaders I had heard earlier talking about simplicity and talking about how important it is for the well-being of employees. It's the most important thing for the adapting of technology. So as CHROs, the decisions that we have to take is one, how we can make life simpler for employees, how can we create better touch point and experiences for not just employees, but for candidates also. And third, how can we make sure there is a business case or a business use case that we are creating for us to invest and in the organization's decision making for taking the AI technology ahead, because technology comes with heavy investments. It comes with a lot of benefits, but at the same time, it talks about whether we are ready for the that kind of investments, what stage of organization we are in. These are all how do I see CHRO role changing?
I think very valid points, Abha, as you mentioned, create experience for every touch point and making it adaptable and simpler. I think that's the crux of the thing, wherein how faster an organization can adopt AI and machine learning. I do feel AI and machine learning based automations will definitely free up the HR to focus more on engagement challenges, so to make the experience and also help with the human side of things to achieve the business goals as such. So maybe let me move on to the next question to Ronit. Now, Ronit, with Tata Sons being the largest conglomerate and with the products and services across 150 plus countries and operations in 100 plus countries across 6 continents, this amounts to volume of talent data in various HR areas and various business domains as such. So Ronit, my question to you is, with speedy and accurate processing of enormous volumes of data, AI can help transform the employee as well as the HR experience in number of areas, be it talent engagement, be it talent management, recruitment, learning, etc. Now, what possible advantages of using AI and machine learning in HR do you see at a group level or a group company level? If you can share some short thoughts on that, please.
So I think AI and ML can contribute in probably every touch point that exists within the employee lifecycle, and starting right from the pre-joining stage, right from the stage where we interact with the candidates. Starting from that stage itself, I think artificial intelligence can play a key role in elevating the employee value proposition. Now, we at the Tatas are pretty much at an advantageous position in terms of having a fairly higher brand recall value in the minds of the candidates. But in an open market economy, like everything else, even the war for talent, that is pretty much there and exists. Their technology can play a very important role in terms of giving a very standardized experience to the candidates. So the chatbots, which are curated to deliver seamless experience to the candidates, which is pretty much the first impression that the candidates get about a company. That is an area where AI can provide a very customized and a very tailor-made experience to all the candidates. And they're moving on to in the recruitment process as well. Artificial intelligence can play a pivotal role in matching the right candidates to the right jobs, and having a significant say in terms of what talent would make a better employee. Then right after that as well, keeping a candidate engaged throughout the process and making sure that the candidate joins the particular organization. Artificial intelligence can be used to automate the engagements and keeping the candidate warm. And right after the employee becomes active, then also I think the curated learning journey and the curated career pathway, that is an area where artificial intelligence can come to the aid of each and every employee to have a very significant role in defining the career trajectory based on the data that is churned and based on the personal aspirations of the employee that is generated. And many other areas also like policies, which are very archaic in a sense that they have to be well defined and they have to be lengthy and verbose and pretty elaborate. In those areas also, AI can make them crisper and produce them to the end user, that is the employees, in a very question and answer format and a very interactive format via the chatbot model. So yeah, I mean, these are the areas where artificial intelligence can significantly transform the experience of an employee.
I think thanks, Ronik, for your views. I think the two key takeaways, which I think as you mentioned, are elevating the employee value proposition and keeping the talent engaged. I think that definitely are the two takeaways wherein we definitely feel or we should include AI and machine learning into it. Personally, I think for any employee or HR, any repetitive or monotonous task or searching for any relevant information which takes a lot of time, either are the frustration points. And as you mentioned, right, AI and ML driven tools like chatbots, which can handle simple monotonous tasks, freeing up the employee from the tedium of repetitions and thus making the experience better, are definitely the areas where AI and machine learning can contribute into the HR space. Let me move on to the next question to Abha and Ajay. Let me start with Abha first. Now, in India, owing to the pandemic outbreak, some of the sectors lockdowns have been state, housing, finance, and FMCG sectors, right? With wave after wave of pandemic causing irreparable damage to the business and talent, and also the talent cost getting expensive day by day, as well as the talent crunch in the market. Organizations have to use non-traditional ways to address these and be flexible to address the sudden changes that have come up. So Abha, my question to you is, as more and more businesses are incorporating AI and machine learning into their HR processes, what aspects of HR and AI and machine learning can aid, in your opinion, especially from your organization's perspective? If you could help us with a brief views on that, please.
Sure, Trilok, I think we have experienced, as you rightly mentioned, there have been multiple changes that have happened from a recent pandemic that had happened, maybe global changes that are happening. There's a significant experience or a significant change in the way we are interacting with, or the evolution of technologies is happening. And of course, HR is not very far off from adopting any of these aspects, because at the end of the day, we are dealing with humans which are on a day-to-day basis interacting with technology and its advancements on a daily-to-daily basis. As simple as an example, I was talking about ChatGPT in the morning, and it's just a 10-day-old chatbot, and it's being used as like better than Google maybe. At this point of time, there is the way that we are consuming technology as humans is changing so fast that HR has to also create experience across the employee life cycle for all candidates, employees, for them to experience the advancement in technology, to showcase how as an organization we are doing better. So from that aspect, if I look at when I am looking at my processes from an employee life cycle, where I heavily work on technology, or recruitment for sure, because that is one place where there's a lot that can be done by AI, ML tech tools, which earlier one of my colleagues also on the panel mentioned, how they, AI can help finding the right sort of candidates, helping us evaluate them, rate them, and also let us know the longevity to an extent of a prospect candidate. That is from a point of view of recruitment, hiring the right candidate for the organization, keeping the employees engaged. We have high usage of chatbot from just a point of view of resolving smaller queries to larger conversations, to understanding how's the engagement score of the organization. That's what we use at any point of time in our organization as well. Chatbots are very frequent on use. How do we handle performance management is also some place where we can make sure that technology is used to give feedback real time. Okay, most important thing that today's generation that we're talking about is instant gratification or instant recognition feedback that is important. So technology can help us manage that portion as well. And one place where we invest also is personalized learning, where each employee, based on what career path progression that they are at, what benefits that, or what kind of a role that they are in, Personalized learning development plans are also something that AI helps us and ML helps us or employees to choose from. So these are aspects of HR where I think there has been a significant shift in how we have been working and how technology and AI ML has made things better for us.
Thank you, Abha. Thank you, Abha, for those thoughtful insights. And so, Ajay, if you would like to share your thoughts from your organization perspective on the same, please.
No, I completely in sync with what Abha said. So, I mean, if you talk about today's work gen which is coming in place, right? So they are totally driven with the thought of being automatic in terms, not only in terms of their work processes, even their thought process, they want it to be automated, right? They want things on a faster pace. Gone are the days when I started my career, or probably some of my colleagues or the fraternity people might have started. They would be doing things using Excel or probably calculators and all, but today nobody wants to do it using all those things, right? So certainly the things, the expectations with the workforce coming in have changed. We need to change accordingly as an HR or as the leader driver to the businesses. But one thing for sure will not be changing is the HR involvement as a human capital to the core of the business, because AI can come, ML can come, but who will bring in the change management into the picture? Right. So you have to be very cautious when you're putting in something. You need to have a brain, a human hand to bring those changes in place to be implemented to get the expected results out of it.
Thank you for those thoughtful comments. Now, I believe, I mean, as you both mentioned, Ajay and Abha, now AI and machine learning can definitely help in, I mean, as you mentioned, talent engagement, streamlining recruitment, and other areas like attrition predictions or personalized learning recommendations, as Abha mentioned, or other areas being salary fitment, succession, and promotion recommendations. I mean, these are just to name a few where AI and machine learning can definitely help HR and employees in making their experience better. Just as we are running behind schedule, and so in the interest of time, let me move on directly to the last question to Ronit and Ajay. So let me start with Ronit. Okay, Ronit, see, as AI and machine learning catches on, there is clearly a lot that the HR needs to consider when it comes to the impact of AI and automation on the HR function. And there is also a great impact that automation will have on the organization that HR supports. It is critical that HR professionals are prepared to support the digital transformation within the companies, or the HR function as a whole runs the risk of being left behind, while the other departments like IT and central analytics teams and all will step in, and where HR is unable to step in. So, Ronit, my question to you is, now most of the low-value HR tasks can be automated and can be done by the AI, right? Now, do you think AI will eventually take over HR's responsibilities in the long run? Do you? I mean, if you could share your thoughts on that, please.
So I see the role of AI more as a facilitator, more as a support to the HR professionals going ahead with their work. And as you rightly mentioned, the low value tasks are, and the repetitive tasks are, of course, will be automated in due course, and AI will even go one step ahead and make it more value adding and make it even better as far as the value proposition is concerned. But when it comes to the tasks which require judgment, which require human empathy, which require human sensitivity, and a lot of other emotions which only a human can handle. So those functions of the HR will definitely stay forever, and AI can at best be a complement to that in terms of providing the right insights and the right inputs in order to take the right decisions. But as far as the tasks which result in actual strategic value is concerned, I think those tasks will very much remain as they are with the HR professionals. And in terms of driving it at an organizational level, I think HR professionals, since they directly are in sync with the ground realities of the organization in terms of the employee mindset, they are the best. They are at the best position to drive this change of implementing enablement of technology or enablement of AI added tools in an organization. But I think as far as AI replacing the HR function in any ways concerned, I think it will in fact create more types of roles instead of replacing it. The entire area of HR analytics and the talent scientist roles, those are pretty much AI centered roles, which also require a significant bit of HR expertise in them. So the overall HR sphere, in fact, has increased after the AI based implosion has taken place.
I think rightly said, Ronit. Ajay, if you would like to also share your short views on this from your perspective, please.
Surely, Loki. Agreeing to what Ronit said right now. Talking about replacement of HR by AI, so it's a big no. Reason being, AI can surely pave a way to the function of the business to save time and increase productivity. But when it comes to mastering the complex cognitive operations, so of course there is one or three common things which are missing in AI or ML, which is ability to think, the emotions, and importantly the passion and the aspirations. So that is something which is only a human brain or human thought or human feelings can bring in to the table, right? So AI for sure they are there to help us, but they're not to replace us. That's a fact because they are only. They work on algorithms and data. We need data to act upon. So that's how they're not going to replace us. Anytime from now.
I think I totally agree. So if I summarize it, as you both mentioned, I believe it can be an easy and exciting to adopt a technology and automation as much as possible into the workplace for maximizing efficiencies and productivities and everything. But there's a reason why human resources is named the way it is, right? Now, by bringing in human touch, human HR teams can help the employees in achieving their business goals. And as you rightly pointed out, handling the strategic activities and support employees and enrich their amazing journey across the organization is something where definitely the human touch will still continue to persist, even if the AI and machine learning continues to grow and gets infused into HR areas as such. I think with that, we come to the end of this session. Now, if I summarize everything, now this has been some fascinating discussion. I appreciate your thoughtful comments and valuable insight which you have shared with me. So to conclude, I can say AI is likely to permeate through in all the areas what we do today. And AI is already being referred to as the fourth industrial revolution. And it's essential for the organizations to be appropriately prepared. As the old saying goes, if you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. Hence, it's an appropriate mantra for organizations to adopt to face the next wave of innovations and the challenges which might come through, right? So AI can help you or can offer you insights, and its performance is obviously based on the facts it has been trained on. As a result, it's crucial to have human oversight and discretion when interpreting and acting on the AI recommendations. AI can help and support the HR professionals in their work, but it's unlikely that it will take over their positions altogether because HR requires human touch and judgment for their talent. I think with that, I conclude this session. Thanks for your time and thanks for your valuable insight which you had shared with me. Thank you all.
Thank
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Back to you, Bridget. Thank you.
Thank you, Trilok, and thank you to all the leaders of this panel for helping us understand how human intelligence is still relevant in the increasingly more data-dependent world. We are now at the end of our event. For closing notes, I would like to welcome Mr. Raj Agarwal, Vice President and Global Head of Tata Consultancy Services. He heads TCS Platform Solutions, a strategic growth business unit in TCS. Platform Solutions help customers accelerate their digital journey for functions such as human resources, procurement, and finance. Prior to this, Raj was the Global Practice Head of Enterprise Solutions, managing the Customer Relationship Management and Oracle Enterprise Practices. Please welcome Raj Agarwal.
Thank you, Bridget. Dear speakers, customers, and attendees, big thank you for taking time out to participate and in this event. Hope it was informative and valuable. I personally found it very, very vast and useful. And I will not even try to summarize things because it's been such a comprehensive set of knowledge that I have taken notes from. So thank you for speaking, for participating and organizing. I actually, on a lighter note, I had 2 keynotes prepared. So in the interest of time, I will just keep it to what I have scribbled in my handwritten notes. The second keynote was which I generated using ChatGPT. I was surprised that nobody talked about ChatGPT today, but I'm sure in the coming months and quarters and years, everybody will talk about generative AI. And I just asked ChatGPT to give me a CHRO conference thank you note, and it did a brilliant job. Out of context, a little bit non-contextual, but I will spare you from talking about that. I will read out from my handwritten notes right here. So as HR, I think all we have seen today as well, you play a very critical role in shaping organizations' culture, driving talent transformation in your organizations, and creating what we call as an infinite run. Okay, so your job never ends. Okay, so throughout 24/7, 365 days a year, and it goes on to infinity. So thank you to all our HR fraternity for performing the role in a very selfless and giving manner. We are very proud and truly thankful for all of you, our customers, to have chosen TCS as a partner in that journey. Okay, so thank you for that. In fact, in calendar year 2022 was one of the best years that we had. We had the highest number of customers coming on board and signing up with us. So once again, thank you for that. My request to you would be to continue to push us, demand more from us, while sharing your roadmap, your business priorities, and helping us plan better. Our commitment will be to scale up things a lot more than what we have done in the past, improve quality, which has been pretty good in my opinion, in our opinion, and also increase the throughput of our delivery, okay, in the rate in which we deliver change requests and new functionality to you could be more agile. Okay, so we will commit and work towards that. And finally, I would like to thank the organizers for having worked for at least a couple of months in getting things organized and putting things such wonderfully in place. And I look forward to the next year CHROMA event, maybe in person, but if not virtually. Thank you, Bridget and team, and thank you everybody once again. Thank you. Over to you, Bridget.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you for your time in joining us today. As we draw the curtains for the day, I would like to once again thank our esteemed speakers and all the participants who have joined this event and made it an enriching experience. I request everyone to provide your valuable feedback through the survey link under the featured section of the question and answer tab on your screen before leaving the event. This will enable us to improve the next edition of CHROMA InnerCircle. As they say, all good things must come to an end, and this event is no exception, but we are prepared for the next edition and cannot wait to see you at CHROMA InnerCircle 2024. Thank you and see you soon.